Hey everybody, Steve Spohn here with Spohn Performance, and we wanted to give you a video tour of our tubular rear trailing arms for the 2010 and newer Chevrolet Camaro and the 2008 and newer Pontiac G8. We have these available in 4 different varieties, which I'm going to show you, and I also have the factory piece here to show you a comparison. I'll show you how the factory piece is made out of stamped sheet metal with a soft rubber bushing, which is one of the big reasons that these cars have a lot of wheel hop. So our tubular rear trailing arms are going to help you out big time with getting rid of the wheel hop, improving traction and handling. They're constructed of 1.25" 095 DOM tubing and 1/4" CNC laser cut and formed mounting bracket with a 3/16 gusset. Our tubular trailing arms are 100% TIG welded, and they're pretty lightweight. For example, our standard tubular rear trailing arms with the polyurethane bushings, they come in at only 6.3 pounds per pair. So you're not putting a lot of weight on, you're getting a good performance advantage and keeping your weight increased to minimal. The tubular rear trailing arms, we're going to show you in a bit what these look like installed on the car. On the independent rear suspension, the trailing arms set your caster. So if you're putting these on, you're going to lock your caster settings into place. They are not adjustable. On this particular item, there is nothing to adjust with the IRS setup. We do have 2 versions with a spherical rod and a Del Sphere pivot joint. We do not have an adjuster in place like we do on some of our other items with a solid axle. We just have the end threaded in just because that's how they mount, but there is no reason to adjust these items. They will ship to you jig set at OEM length, and you just install them right the way we ship them to you. First thing I have here is the factory piece. As I was saying earlier, you can see it's just 2 pieces of stamped sheet metal. They have a couple welds joining them together. It's a pretty flimsy piece. As you can see, we got soft rubber bushings, and that's what gives you your wheel hop. So the first one I'll show you is our standard part number C10-201 direct factory replacement rear trailing arm. We got polyurethane bushings. As you can see, we have a grease fitting in place, so they're greasable on the car. Another thing I wanted to show you is we're using a fluted polyurethane bushings. If you look on the inside of the bushing, you see those grooves. They run the length of the bore hole, and that allows grease to flow between the outside of your bolt sleeve and the inside of the bushing. When you grease the control arms through the grease fitting, you'll get grease between the bolt sleeve and the inside of the bushing, and of course around the OD of the bushing. That keeps things properly lubricated. Nice, smooth, quiet ride. As I said, they're made out of 1.25" DOM tubing. They're 100% TIG welded. Same thing on the bushing end. Completely TIG welded. Show you a close up, you can see the quality of the welds. We have very talented welders working here. As you can see, they have a very brilliant and durable powder coated finish. We're showing you the bright red. They're also available in gloss black. Our mounting brackets made out of 1/4 inch CNC laser cut and CNC formed steel. As you can see, that is one formed piece, there's no welds. And on the underside, we have a 3/16 laser cut gusset. This is how it would mount on the car. This is the bottom of the control arm. This is the top. As you can see, we have that fully boxed off for maximum rigidity. Make sure we don't have any flex. It's a very strong setup. It's going to take away all the flex you're getting from the factory stamped sheet metal. And of course with the better bushing as well. Really takes the wheel hop out of these IRS cars. For the road race guys, we have the exact same setup I just showed you. The only difference is we have a Delrin bushing. Delrin is a very hard, very strong plastic. You're going to get pretty much no bushing deflection at all with this setup. It is a much stiffer bushing than the polyurethane, so you will get some more road noise. Like I said, this would be for the hardcore road race Auto X guys, or just guys that want maximum handling and don't mind a little bit more road noise. For the really hardcore drag race and road race guys, we got the same setup, but we have a chromoly Teflon line 3/4 inch XM series spherical rod end. That gives you 0 bushing deflection. You're putting everything right into the tire. Of course, you get a little more road noise with the solid connection of the rod end. As I said, this would be for hardcore race applications. Using a 4130 chromoly threaded tube adapter that's TIG welded in place. And as I mentioned earlier, these will ship to you jig set, stock length. Just install it right the way we ship it to you. There's no reason to adjust anything on these trailing arms. And finally, we'd have the same setup I just showed you, but we'll use our Del Sphere pivot joint. Be for the same type application I just showed you with the spherical rod end. Difference with our Del Sphere pivot joint, it's nice and quiet, so it's street friendly. If you're looking for maximum performance, you still drive your car on the street, you want a nice quiet ride, this would be the way to go with the Del Sphere pivot joint. So those are the 4 different versions of our tubular rear trailing arms. We'll head out into the shop now, and I'll show you what a set looks like installed on the car. Okay, we're out here in the shop now underneath our car, and on the bottom you can see those are our tubular trailing arms, and that's what locks in your caster settings. Above the tubular trailing arm is our tubular toe links, and that is what locks in your toe settings for your independent rear suspension. Showing you the tubular trailing arms with the polyurethane bushings. As you can see, the poly bushing mounts to the rear subframe. And Our steel mounting bracket mounts to the spindle. Above that, we got our toe links. This is the polyurethane bushing version. As you can see, you got a poly bushing mounts to your rear subframe. Easily accessible grease fitting. Comes down and the other end of it mounts to the spindle. It's just like a factory setup. This is all bolted in with factory hardware. See, our bushings are the same OD as the factory. So you can use the factory washer and bolt. Mounts that in place just like the factory arm. Again, easily accessible grease fitting. You can see the ABS line mounts I was telling you about. Your ABS line runs down along the toe link, and it's got two clips. One clips in place on each mounting bracket. Come around to the other side, try to get you a better view. That's your ABS line. And as you can see, they clip in place just like they did on the factory arm. You can see on our lower trailing arm, we have that mount fully boxed for maximum rigidity. So that gives you an idea of what the tubular lower trailing arms and the tubular toe links look like once they're installed on the vehicle. You have them on the other side also. Same deal. So that concludes our video tour. Thanks for watching. I'm Steve Spohn, and I'll see you at the track.